We back at it. Telling y'all been hitting me with some crazy questions. I'm on the emails checking it out, and I'm like, this don't look right. This don't look right. And because it don't look right, I couldn't even get down with it. So when I'm looking at the situation, and I'm like, man, this situation looks jacked up from the jump. So Bangum Smurf, who was with G Unit when they came out with Domination, all of a sudden, we got problems. Problems in the air. That should have came out of nowhere, right? Shouldn't even been there. But for whatever the reasons, there's problems. Right? Now, this ain't about going over the same thing we already talked about 1,000 years ago. But they interview my mans, right? They sit up there and interviewed my main mans. Nah, he ain't my main mans. Let me stop front. They interviewed Bangum Smurf. And what does Smurf say? What does Smurf do? Feel me? In that interview, Bangum Smurf does. You know what he says? He comes in and says, oh, I know why 50 and Banks, they always been beefing. You know, I mean, look, 50 ain't put Banks out. That's why Banks, you can't take a nap off. What the first album do? Like 2 million? Then the second album, he come out, what, 2 years later? You know what I'm saying? You can't take that much time off, and 50 kept him on ice. See, let me tell you something. And the dude who did the interview, he probably was really thirsty for an interview just to have something out there. You know, and it's cool. I get it. I get it. This is what you want to do. But let's be real about it. Bangum Smurf hasn't been around G Unit since like 2004, 2005. I'm addressing all the questions right now. But since 2004, 2005, so he wasn't around for Banks' album when it dropped. He wasn't around for none of this. He was only around for Get Rich. He wasn't around for the G Unit album. He wasn't around for any of it. Like 03, right? 03, 04, he was there. That was it. I know more about the situation than he do. And he's a former member of the group. I know more about the situation than him. That's bad. That's bad. But I understand he's just trying to make conversation about something he don't know, because at one point he was in the group and the dude that interviewed him probably said, hey, you know, I need an interview right now. Let me interview Smurf. Yo, Smurf, you know, this and that. Hey, it is what it is. but I'm here to unconfuse the people who listen to that. Let me give you some clarity to this. First off, 50 and Banks didn't have any problems at that time. Not one. Now, the whole situation went down when Banks' album came out. You normally take 2 years off because you're touring. You have the G Unit album, you got Banks' album, you got Buck album out. They're touring. They're making their money. So 2 years later, when the Rotten Apple comes out, that's when it was supposed to come out. 2 years later. But the album couldn't be promoted the way it was supposed to be, and Banks didn't make the kind of songs he was supposed to make for the record. And this is where the disconnect kicks in at. So I hope you're listening, Smurf, so you would know. Okay? Banks' father had a heart attack and died. All right? Lloyd Banks' father passed away. You should have known that. So right when he's supposed to do his promotional run for the album and everything, his father died. And then right after that, his mother had back-to-back strokes before he even put his father's body in the ground. I remember that, but we'll get back to that. We're going to double back to that. This is the main reason why a lot of this stuff happened the way it did. His father died. Then his mother had back-to-back strokes. Now, Smurf should have known that if he was so connected to the situation. And 50's lack of empathy for the situation is what caused the rift. So he didn't get a chance to promote the album. J Poet, I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to tell me at one point Banks left his CD in the car and his songs got leaked out. Yes, we remember that. Some of the songs still made it on the album though. Let's be clear. Now, but the ones with the chick to leak the album out and all that stuff, yeah. But not a lot of people even got that album. They put a kibosh on a lot of that. So now, moving forward, when they got the kind of album that they made, 50 wanted it to not be such a street album. The album was kind of street. So Who Kid had the album out with premiering some songs on it. The Hunger for More Part 2 was going to come out later, but the Rotten Apple one, they put a lot of money into it, and they didn't promote it. It was some songs on there they could have promoted. They just never had a chance because Banks didn't do any of the promotion to him. Because he had to stay, he chose to stay home with his family. That was not an option. No matter what, his mother had back-to-back strokes. And 50's lack of empathy in the situation, he's like, look, I know you're going through something, you know, I feel for you, but you got to understand, man, you still got to go to work. You know, you can't, look at Kanye, man. His mom died and he was out there. You know, he had a job to do. You know, it's hard, but you got a job to do. That wasn't an option for Banks. He didn't care what 50 said. He was not going to move. So that put a strain between him and 50 at that point. That's where the first disconnect really came in. It didn't get promoted right. It couldn't get promoted. If the person that's supposed to promote it ain't there to promote the album, you can't promote it. They had things set up. They couldn't do it if the artist isn't there. So that's what messed up the second album and his second launch. And it didn't take off and sell as much. But my thing is, Bangum Smurf, you should have known that. You should have known that. How you gonna do an interview like you were the G Unit insider and you there and yo, this is why this is happening and this is with Banks and 50 and you don't know that. How you not know that? Because you wasn't around. I get it. You wasn't around, dog. So this is what the outcome was. You weren't there. You weren't around. You had no knowledge. You haven't been there since like '04, maybe '03, '04. So for you to know all this stuff going on, and they still interviewing you about stuff from 2003, 2004. He ain't been around, dog. I mean, really, he just haven't. He don't even know. So when y'all sent me the thing, like, yo, man, you gotta respond back, man. Tell him what's going on. He talking about, man, he was falling apart and all this, and you know, and he's a part of history. Dude, you signed over so much money just so 50 could loan you the money to get out. You were a part of a business, dog. He 50 has made you a partner in a business. Yeah, they patched it up. And 50 said something in an interview that made Banks feel a certain way, and they patched it up. But they were never kind of the same. It was more of a business relationship, but personally they were, you know, it is what it is. That's because Banks was always private. Only now do you start seeing. This the first time you've seen Lloyd Banks put his longtime girl out there. He never put his baby mom's picture out. You know, you ain't see no pictures of Banks' kids. I mean, Banks is now doing like Instagram live, doing his mixtapes and stuff, and Banks been putting out work. You just haven't noticed it because he's a quiet dude. That's just how he moves. No, yeah, man, I got a crazy story with P and Banks. When Lloyd Banks met Prodigy, it was like it was funny because when they met each other, they were both fans of each other, but they weren't gonna let the other person know it. It was funny when it was like, "Word, what up? What's up? Yeah, all right." It was like, "Okay, MC to MC, all right, yeah, all right. Well, we're gonna go in there and see what you got, and I'll see what you got. All right, yeah, you got some stuff. Yeah, I heard your stuff, man. Yeah, you tight." And you know, Lloyd Banks is well versed in MCing. You know, it's like who MCs is doing something that motivated him. And listening to Prodigy's older stuff was like, okay, yeah, okay, this dude got it. Banks grew with Fifth. Everybody came in through Yale. Everybody came in through Yale. So that's what I'm saying. Yale put the team together because they all came in through him. Remember, Banks beat up 50 Cent before in a fight. Before when 50 Cent was short and fat. When they was younger. But that's neither here nor there. Well, I don't know who they is. They just lied to you. Hey, man, all I can just tell you is the truth. He put hands on Fifth, and he was younger than him. So that's all I can tell you. Banks got mixtapes that's fire. But when they went back to the Prodigy story, so when they met and then they was getting ready to go out and promote, the Mob Deep project and all this stuff, and they wanted to see, kind of see how each other write. And at this time, P wasn't as sharp as he used to be, and Banks was just a lyrical beast. He was beasting in there lyrically, and man, Prodigy was like, dude, you should be more in the front. Why are you in the back? Like, dude, you need to be out there more because people in the streets know you. But man, Banks was spitting effortlessly, and he was just like, dude, you got it. Right now, you should be in the front. You should be in the front of this thing, man. You should be out there. Your personality, dude, you should be out there. Like the world should know about you. And P wasn't in that zone. Some rappers, it's not like can't write no more. He couldn't rap. It's just that it wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, he had that no more. What he used to have. He had fallen off a bit. He fell off. And situations happen when your scenarios change. It's like a comedian when they taken out of an environment and put in another environment, their jokes aren't as funny no more, because comedians normally make jokes about what's around them. That's what most comedians jokes stem from. What's in front of their face, what they've seen. They could script together a whole segment. Prodigy is a legend. But I'm saying he had a period where his rhymes wasn't the same no more. And when he was with G Unit, it was like that. A lot of it he wasn't really putting his passion into. He wasn't really putting the pen to work. It was just, I got to get this money. We need a quick 16. Here we go. It wasn't about being the illest no more or trying to beat this dude's verse. That was gone. Nah, he was just he was somebody in a different situation. He was like, man, I gotta get this out. We gotta get a bag, and we cool now. Now it's time to get the money. I didn't prove myself a long time ago. Now it's time to get the bag. Yeah, put them in their place was hard. But most of that album was pre-recorded. Like the song The Infamous, do 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 do. SC made that beat, not Prodigy. Boom 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 boom. And they went and they put SC on. I mean, they put 50 Cent on songs like the infamous Doom Doom 50 when it redid the hook for the song. That song was already done. Now Prodigy went and got his own deal personally at Koch and kind of got off the G Unit thing. And that's where him and Have had problems at. You know, he felt like that deal was better for him. So he went over to Koch and got his own independent deal. So 50 let him do it. You know, Pete wanted to do that. So he let him do it. Like, you want to go do that route? It's like, yeah, man, I need this bread. You know? So he did what he did. Well, Koch made all their money off Jim Jones. Koch made a lot of money off just having the older rappers over there and saying, we'll pay you $1 for every unit you sell and this and that. You getting $1 per album sale over here. You can get up to $12 an album. It's like, you kidding? They can't afford to pay you that because they're a small place. They can't even distribute that much. But with Jim Jones, we fly high, we balling. People didn't look at the underwriting in that. The reason that they were able to pay out so much because they cut out your album budget, your album cover, all that stuff is cut out. You got no promotion. You got nothing. They're like, if you can live with that, you don't need that, and you gonna handle all that, that's cool. We'll give you this. So they was giving like five, six, all the money that they would pay for distribution and all these other things. They weren't losing no money. It was like, look, we gonna give you the money we would have been giving them. So they normally get $4 per disc or whatever. We'll just roll that over to you because we ain't paying them. So if you want that, there you go. So everybody be like, bad, I'm finna make a killing off this deal. So people was all running the Koch. And they were a small label. But they had a great gimmick. But they didn't read the contracts all the way through. And you weren't going to end up getting that money in the back end. When you got to pay for certain taxes and certain things you had to pay for it in the verbiage. Some people contracts were different. He's like, don't forget Koch's all-in deals. So it went down to that. But to circle back around to what we was talking about, all of these things have been transpiring, and there has been no Bang'em Smurf around. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's talked to Smurf. So he ain't been there in like 13 years, dog. If not 15 years. So for him to say how the Banks beef started because 50 got to be number one and he wasn't pushing Banks, complete lie. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't even try it. It's not true, not real, all fake. And whoever interviewed him just know what they were talking about. because when Banks was out and everybody was talking about how Banks, 50 told Banks, he was like, look, don't get caught into all this. Everybody gonna be talking about Banks is the best, Banks is the best, and G Unit, Banks is this and that. He's like, look, they gonna say the same thing about Young Buck when Young Buck dropped. They gonna be, oh, now Buck's the best. And sure enough, when Buck dropped, now they talking about Buck is the best in G Unit. See, he was like, see what I told you? So don't even get caught into that. Who's the best and all that stuff. 50 taught him, he told them the game, period. But look at what Fifth did. He put out an album for everybody in his group. Yayo album, which was tight. Most of that, y'all slept on Yayo album. Yayo album was tight. All the way through. He had the best beats. SC did basically half the album. Yeah, it slept on. It was a hit. But at that point, everybody was coming at G Unit. I mean, Game was coming at him. It was the time the Game split from him. And Tony Yayo album came out. The Game project came in. They just interjected that, and it pushed Tony Yayo album back. Tony album was supposed to come out. So imagine if they didn't mess with Game. They had Tony Yayo come out right with Buck. Tony Yayo album had to get pushed back because they pushed Game in. So Olivia project and Game, Olivia and what's his name, they got pushed to the side and put on hiatus until they dealt with this situation with Game. Game came in, they made Game hot. He had a $20 million budget. They did a $20 million rollout for Game. That's how much money they were putting into the game. $20 million to promote him. Did you see the promotion for Game when he came out? It was crazy. The same push they did for 50 Cent, they was like, we could do the same thing for Game. And 50 came in and co-produced the album, everything. And he got a part of Game. Before Our Self-Destruct album is great. It's just that people got so caught up in 50 Cent and being against him at the time. That was it. And the album, they weren't trying to push 50 Cent records. They made more money sabotaging 50 Cent than they did trying to keep him around. I was just playing that. Crime Wave hit. Stretch hit. Everything on there is a hit. Baby by Me, Baby. Do You Think About Me? Everything. I'm like, dude, how many more hits? Y'all be listening to rappers right now that have no hit songs whatsoever. They got 13 records of the same song. All the way through. And y'all be like, that's fire. I'll be like, y'all don't even know what fire is no more. I was listening Before Our Self-Destruct more than I was listening to Curtis. And Curtis had nothing but hits. But Curtis had more radio hits. It was more commercial. And it had all the radio hits. And I'm like, man, look at all the hits Curtis got. Because my boy said the same thing just out of the side of his mouth. He was just like, yeah, that Curtis album was whack. I'm like, it was? I'm like, well, let's go. Let's go down the list. The song "Follow My Lead" with Robin Thicke that you liked, yeah, that's on there. You had "I Get Money" was on there. "I Still Will" with Akon, the song you like, yeah, that's on there. He was like, man, yeah, that song do got a lot of hits. Ayo Technology with Justin Timberlake. Hey, yo, you know, song you like, yeah, that's on there. That's all on the same album. It's all on the same album, bro. You see what I'm saying? People don't even know what they be hating. They just listen to other people say it suck. So then they might like, yeah, he kind of fell off. Yeah, that album sucked. They don't even remember it. I mean, like the song you like, yeah, it's on that album. No, it ain't. Yes, it is. Amusement Park, yeah, the song you like, yeah, it's on that album too. Wait a minute, I don't know. Was Amusement Park on there? What you confused about, B? Because I thought Amusement Park was the second one, but it could be the third one. Oh, it was the second single of Curtis. Yeah, okay. That's the one I always get mixed up, the Amusement Park. You ain't gotta take your panties out. Just pull it to the side. Yeah, Maserati Fox. Y'all think 50 slick. He's like, 50 don't want Fox to rap. 50 got Fox to kill somebody. Ah, that was the funniest thing. 50 think he's slick. 50 didn't grab Fox to rap. 50 got Fox to kill somebody. But first we gonna get this money, and then we go dumb out. Man, that Maserati mixtape was nothing but a murder tape. Yeah, if you click, everybody click the link in the description box, man. And y'all leave a donation, your email, I email you back. I ain't see nobody on there, so I didn't see nobody, so that's why I didn't do that. But this was all screwed up, so it's about 50 exactly. Begum Smurf whole life is attached to 50 Cent. That's it. His legacy was over 13 years ago. That was his window. He was done. He's a street dude, you know, and he was in trouble riding for somebody else. Messed up his whole position. Probably, look, French. Let me tell you about French. French Montana was a street dude. You know what I'm saying? He was a real street cat. He's no rapper. He can't rap. French don't know nothing about rapping, dog. So if you thinking everybody like, man, why French ain't blow up? And all he is the wavy kind of dude. Diddy is the right guy for him. He home now. You know, him and 50 fell out, and that was it. Yeah, French got a sound. You know, that's basically his wave, you know, and you either with it or you ain't. But French work. You know, he's the kind of guy you put with a rapper. And then it would take off. You can easily get anybody to write you a verse after that. What fallouts 50 had lately? Believe me, if you're the number one rapper in the world, you're gonna have fallouts. Cause somebody want that spot. Nobody wants you to be the number one rapper in the world. You think somebody wants you to have that title? You think somebody walking around here going, you know what? I want homeboy over here to be the number one rapper in the world. Nope. Nobody's thinking that, fam. That's what I'm saying. I know more about G Unit than he do. That's how messed up it is. I know more about G Unit than Bangum Smurf and what happened. He's been out for 15 years. All he can tell you about is anything past 2004, he can't tell you nothing. All he can say is, I was right there with 50. I screwed up. It's over. That's about all he can say. That's what I'm saying. Y'all know more than Smurf. Anybody anybody who subscribed to me know more than Smurf about the situation. There's gonna be people in the comment section like, that's not true. That's not the reason why. You just made that up. Yeah, he got deported. He didn't realize the rules when it came to deportation. So we'll see what happens, though. Well, when you shoot at somebody and somebody's shot at or shot, and you arrested and all this stuff, you know, that tends to violate your visa and all these different things. So let me go ahead and get on my JO for a minute. Y'all guys have enough. They didn't send the notifications out on my videos, so we'll tackle that, cross that bridge when we get there. But let me get down and dirty over here. He was deported 15 years ago, yeah, but yet they doing interviews with him, asking him about G-Unit. It's crazy. Not once in the interview did he mention that Lloyd Banks lost his father, because he probably didn't even know. Talking about his second album, he wants to blame that on 50. How you gonna blame that on 5th? Makes no sense. Yayo brought everybody in. Everybody got brought in through him. Very tiresome. Very tiresome. Everybody's like, how's your holiday? I'm still recovering from it. This is my first day with, like, I have the kids over here. This whole room was ransacked. The whole house was basically at their mercy. And I'm just driving like a machine. Driving here, driving there. I'm exhausted. I told you it's going to take about 2 days. It's a lot of stuff to get to. And I don't want to make this thing bigger than what it already is. But I got breaking news coming. So, um, yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's going down.